Hey everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Ron Fitch. And I tell you the truth. I break it down. I've watched a lot of NBA finals and playoffs, and I see trends and momentum shifts all the time. And once Indiana stole that game, that OKC is a young team really needed to have, they need to be up 2-0 playing Indiana. And I wasn't even sure they were going to win the series then. But once they got that, and I knew game two was a throwaway game. OKC was going to come in and save face to avoid the sweep. And then game three, OKC battled and just was weak down the stretch on the road, which they have in all playoffs. Against Denver, they were weak in game three, weak in game four, was able to steal game four. Against Minnesota, weak in game three, getting blown out, weak in game four, where they had no business winning. They stole that. And this series against the Pacers, who feel like they're the team of destiny, you can't be weak in game three. They were good for three quarters, but the turnovers finally got them, and they end up losing 116 to 107. I'm gonna break this game down. One big stat: Indiana Pacers, 24 assists, 13 turnovers. Not bad. OKC Thunder, 16 assists. Not great. 17 turnovers. That destroyed them. And they were turning the ball over in a high school kind of fashion. Where they threw the ball to O'Connell just arbitrarily twice for layups. That you don't do that and not even I don't even like that in high school game. But they did that because they were just the crowd, they were so intimidated. They were trying to push through, but the Indiana's fast break ability and what they do, they gamble. They have a kind of gambling defense where they'll press you to double team, they'll attack the dribbler, they'll give up layups, figuring out that they're going to turn you over. And they did. There were a couple times that Holmgren was able to slip through with some backdoor dunks. They were able to do that. But for the most part, you look at this stat. Miles Turner had 5 blocks. That's all you need to know. He protected the rim well. And OKC's kind of a finesse type of team. Even their star, SGA, is a great mid-range. He kind of lulls you to sleep, kind of deliberate moves. He'll drive to the basket. He's got great long arms. So they were doing that well. But what I've noticed the whole series is Miles Turner and Siakam is getting down low. Miles Turner is able to find himself under the basket whenever Indiana, OKC trying to turn Indiana over. And they have found from game one on, they found a lot of Turner underneath the basket, whether it's offensive rebound or he's getting caught with one of the guards underneath where he's catching and scoring. And that's been a problem. OKC's playing great defense, but there was a couple of breaks out. Yesterday, they played defense with zero confidence. That wasn't a confident OKC team I saw the first two games defensively. And Naismith has been good, but Nimhard, I've seen Nimhard in high school. I actually bought Nimhard. It's a funny story. I bought Nimhard, Chick-fil-A. His team out Verde came out here to New Jersey for a tournament, and I was a reporter. And we did a show at Chick-fil-A with him and RJ Barrett, and he was there, and great kid. I hope I can find that footage. But that was every time I see him, I say, I got Chick-fil-A. But he has been good because he knows SGA. And that knowledge, when they're two Canadian guys, that knowledge is important. And they know each other. And they battled and battled and battled. So he goes right after him. He fouls. He probably committed about 8 fouls. They didn't call it because it's more physical. So and OKC was tired. In the mid-fourth quarter, you see them laying on the ground. They were a little worn out. And once it got to 5 in the middle of the fourth quarter, it got to 5. And then Andrew Nimhart hit his jumper, and then Toppin had a dunk. It was 107 to 100, 423 left. The game is over because OKC can't come back from that with the crowd because it was back and forth, and then it hit Indiana starting to open the lead up toward the end, and that was the end of OKC. And I think it's completely the end of OKC. I don't think there's no way you tell me they're winning a game in Indianapolis. The throwaway game they'll win, possibly. If they come out, blow them out, desperate, and sometimes Indiana has a tendency to just like, we'll beat them at home, like game two. They knew after winning game one, if they game two they kind of played like they know they're not losing Indiana. It's a veteran team. They're not gonna keep the foot off the necks of OKC. They got no chance. So I'm tempted to just congratulate the Pacers for their first championship. I'm almost at that point. They gotta just finish them off in game four, and the series will be over, completely over, because game five will be OKC avoiding a German sweep or Indiana finish them. And then game six, it'll be a coronation because they'll be home with a chance to win their first championship. There ain't no way in the world they'll let OKC out alive. Now, Jalen Williams has played a little better, but the road players like the home players like Walls in game two, and then Mathurin was fantastic. Mathurin was on a team in Arizona that had no business not winning the national championship. They have Ballo and Mathurin and a couple other good players that Arizona has wasted a lot of talent. They have one national championship and a lot of wasted talent between who's a great coach, Lou Olson, and all the other coaches. They just couldn't get over the hump. And Mathurin's on that team. I knew how good Mathurin was. He was hurt last year. I wonder if that could have helped them against Boston. Now he's coming off the bench playing well. O'Connell has been a pest. And they got to do something about O'Connell. They can't throw the ball to O'Connell on the inbounds. They have to do the fundamentals first before they even think about winning a basketball game. Don't throw the ball to O'Connell on the inbound. I would run that tape. Don't do that anymore. He's going to come. He's gambling. Make him pay if he's gambling on the inbounds. And then I could see turnovers coming. The way they were dribbling, I said, okay, a turnover's coming, then a turnover came. They were stifled under that pressure of Indiana. Now Carla says, okay, the team that likes to put great defense on you doesn't like it back towards them. And they did that. And Naismith, and he did this to Knicks. They kind of wore him out. And Knicks didn't have that consistent second or third option, even though Towns was solid. But they didn't have another guy that brought it after Towns and Brunson. And this is the problem with OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's times he would like to pass. He has to score with the shot clock down to 4 or 5. He's got to hoist it up, miss. Here come Indiana down the court. Boom, like the Indy 500. Layup, dunk, boom, game. That's what's happening. OKC can't even set up their half-court defense. What OKC has to do, which I don't see them doing, is hitting that mid-range, being solid when Indiana is throwing haymakers, throw a couple of them back just to stabilize, and then have the game close with 3 minutes left. And it slows down a little. And let Shai Gilgeous and Jalen Williams, too, distribute. And Chet Holmgren, he was 0 for 6 from 3. He's got to be 4 of 6 from 3 for them to have a prayer of a chance, which I just don't see happening. I see more of the same in game 4, possibly Indiana blowing it out. OKC coming out like gangbusters in game 5. Just save your face, and it's not their time yet. OKC's got to hope because they're young, they're going to get a couple more chances. But the OKC Thunder's done.